Hey guys, how are you doing today? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Going into 2021, what's it look like for the solar outlook? What's going on in the solar industry? Is it positive? Is it negative? It's Drew with Credible Solar, aka Solar Santa. A lot of people call me that, and we're going to be going over the state of the solar industry in 2021. So if you just want to jump to my computer over here. Okay, so the state of the solar industry in 2021. What are we looking at? So solar generation is taking over a large portion of the market share for electricity generation in the United States. So they went from 0% in 2010 up to 3% of the total electricity generated in the United States is all coming from solar power. So that's tremendous growth, growth like we haven't seen in any other electricity generator in the United States for a very long time. Solar power is growing extremely quickly. And it is taking market share from coal power, which is down over 50% in the last decade. Coal used to generate 40% of the electricity for the United States in 2010, and now coming into 2020, it is less than 20%, okay? So solar power and other cleaner forms of electricity are actually taking the market share from oil. And I mean, this is an incredible moment in history. Oil has been the driver of the economy for quite some time now, and now solar electricity and cleaner forms of electricity are finally coming in and taking some of oil's market share. So this is a very historic moment in history. So what is fueling this whole movement in solar? Well, Uncle Sam, the federal government, is actually pays a big portion of the solar in the form of a tax credit for homeowners and business owners, okay? So it was created in 2006, and since then, the industry has grown over 10,000% with this incentive, with this federal tax incentive. And what it is basically the federal government is putting, prior to 2019, it was 30% down of the total cost of a solar system in the form of a tax credit, so that homeowners and businesses can recoup a big portion of that investment back pretty quickly. Okay. Democrats and Republicans and President Trump has just signed in another extension of the solar tax credit. Has created a lot of American jobs for another 2 years at 26%. So right now, if you own a home or have a business and you decide do you want to go solar, they will pay for it 26% in the form of a tax credit. You definitely need to talk to a tax advisor, make sure you're going to qualify for that, but there is that incentive out there, and that is fueling this growth in the solar industry. Okay, so the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. So this was signed in by President Trump. In basically what it does is businesses get to write off 100% the depreciable value of their solar system in the first year. And this is as of 2017. So some businesses are paying 50% the total cost of a solar installation and paying off their systems as soon as 5 years in comparison to what they would be doing with the utility company. So the return on investment on some of these commercial systems is very, very nice. And they are, I mean, really, they're paying sometimes half the cost of what everyone else is paying for solar systems. So this is also fueling the solar industry and all that growth. And then another big portion of that, of course, is the net metering program going on a lot in a lot of the United States right now. So it allows solar homeowners and businesses to actually add solar onto their houses without actually having a battery. So they'll have these smart meters attached to their homes that'll run forwards and backwards and just record all the solar going out versus what they're intaking in, and they are charged on the net of that. So they can have a negative electricity bill or maybe pay $15 a month instead of doing what they used to do with the utility provider. Sometimes upwards $200, $300. If you're a business, $1,000 a month just going out the window. So net metering is helping out a lot. We don't need batteries, which can cost, $10,000 sometimes to get them installed and have a decent battery. And they only have a 10-year product warranty a lot of the time. So net metering is helping people go solar without spending as much money. So solar power in the economy. So as of 2020, we created $8.2 billion worth of revenue for the US economy. So that is set to over double in the next 5 years to be at $19 billion by year 2026. So solar's just begun. I mean, 2008, we weren't making anything for the whole economy. And in 2026, we're set to produce $19 billion for the economy. So that's really good news. The solar industry is growing a lot off of these incentives with Uncle Sam and what these utility providers are doing. So right now there is about 350,000 solar jobs in the United States. And a lot of that workforce is women. 26% of the solar workforce is women, 17% is Latino or Hispanic, and 7.6% of the solar workforce are veterans. So, I mean, this industry is being led by minorities, and 90% of the solar industry is comprised of small businesses that employ less than 500 workers. So this is being led by small businesses as well. Okay. United States is projected to have 10 million jobs in clean energy in the coming years. And just in solar, we only have 250,000. So, you know, there's going to be incredible growth in the future. I'm very excited. And solar is growing a lot on the national scale. Okay, so I'm from the Lone Star State. So I'm going to talk about Texas a little bit. So solar in Texas. Texas just started ramping up sales over here in 2016. And still, it is ranking second in the nation for total solar installed. Okay, so we just started in 2016, and we're already second in the nation for total solar installed in the state. Okay, as of November 2020, there are 13 million jobs and people employed in Texas, and only 10,300 of those jobs are in solar. And most of those people are working in installation and manufacturing. So if you meet a sales guy, you may know Drew. You want to treat them nicely. They are very rare people. It's very rare that you find someone in sales in solar. The vast majority of people are in installation and manufacturing, and there's just so much room for growth even in Texas, okay? So we just went over a lot of the positive things happening with solar net metering, the write-offs for businesses with depreciation for the solar panels, the tax credits. Now, what are some things getting in the way a little bit, making a little bit of a hindrance in the solar industry? So basically, Section 201, a solar tariff, it was signed by President Trump, and it put a tariff on foreign panels so that they were actually a little bit more expensive if they're not manufactured in the United States. So this did lose quite a bit of jobs in the United States in the solar industry, and these tariffs are set to expire in 2021. So that, you know, they're going to be going away, and a lot of these foreign manufacturers ended up bringing some of their factories to the United States, and so that we weren't even really affected by this tariff. Okay, so this is just, I guess, something of a hindrance. And since this tariff was put into place, check this out. Solar stocks are booming. So here at the pandemic here in last March or whatever, when the pandemic first set in, these solar companies had not grown barely anything. At the end of the year, going into 2021, a lot of these companies are up over 400%, some upwards 700% in the stock market this year. 700%, that's crazy. Solar stocks are booming. So with these tariffs right here, it's definitely favoring American companies, and a lot of these are American companies that are just going crazy on the stock market right now. So it is a pretty decent time to probably invest in solar because we're just getting started. The industry is going to over double in the next 5 years, and solar stocks are going crazy right now.
So today, I'm announcing my...
So let's hear from old Mr. Joe Biden, what he's going to do. You know, how's the 2020 election affected solar in the solar industry? Let's hear it from the man himself.
So today,
the President of the
I'm
United States,
announcing my plan for clean energy revolution. It outlines what we have to do to meet this challenge head on and how we're going to get there. We're going to invest $1.7 trillion in securing our future so that by 2050, the United States will be 100% clean energy economy with net zero emissions. By the end of my first term, we will have an enforcement mechanism in place to make sure we stay on track to get there.
Sounds good to me.
Record-breaking investments in research and development, zero carbon technologies, so that America is the engine of the world's clean energy economy, exporting cutting-edge equipment stamped "Made in the USA" to help other nations reduce emissions and mitigate and adapt. This initiative will create more than 10 million new good-paying jobs all across the clean economy in the United States of America. It's an enormous opportunity. As president, I will lead America and the world, not only to confront the crisis in front of us, but to seize the opportunities it presents. I'll use today. I'm announcing.
So, guys, there you guys have it. Joe Biden to invest $2 trillion in his first term. You know, that's a lot of money going into clean energy, and you guys just heard about the incentives going on already. So there's a lot more money going into solar. It is about to get crazy. We got Joe Biden into the office, and he is very focused on producing and leading the globe in clean energy production. Okay, so this is something I thought was pretty interesting, just going on the future of solar. I mean, solar has so much potential. This is basically, I mean, the United States government is building a spacecraft that's actually going to beam down solar electricity from space. Why is that cool? When you're in space, there's no day and night. You're always collecting solar electricity. Okay, so you'll be able to actually beam down electricity regardless of the time of day. So check this out. Look at this little light bulb right here. There's solar right here. There's a light, and check this out. Wireless power coming down from space through radio waves. Okay. The technology is crazy. It's coming. It's 2021. It's the future. Okay, check this out. Once again, light bulb comes on when it comes near the panels, and there's no wires. You're beaming down electricity. This technology is crazy. Okay, things are getting a lot more advanced now, and the industry is just set to just go exponential. All right. So if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe to see more similar videos. We're going to be coming out with a lot more content, and I appreciate you guys watching. Once again, it is Drew with Credible Solar, aka the Solar Santa. A lot of people call me that. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, guys. God bless you and have a blessed day.